Section 3.3, homework assignment. Question number 1. We are using this formula to calculate the z. Z equal x minus mean divided by standard deviation. So what they give you in this problem, the value of z is given, the value of x is given, mean and standard deviation is unknown. So when you cross multiply, a standard deviation is multiplied by 481. So the height is 4.81 standard deviation. So here, the player height is 4.81 times standard deviations. And then problem 2 and 3, they just show here the box plot, which is, you remember the box plot, there are 5 numbers in it: minimum, maximum, Q1, Q2, Q3. So box plot has 5 numbers: minimum, maximum, Q1, Q2, Q3. So you input those numbers here. And for that one, the z-score is, if your score next to study is converted to z, which out of these z-score would you prefer? -2, 2, -1, and 1. Remember, you can't go beyond 2 and -2. So the answer for number 3, the most of the multiple choices at the end. Number 4. In number 4, here, they want you to find the difference. See, the value of z, if we want to calculate the value of z, we need the mean, we need the standard deviations. And both values are given in the problems. In these problems, mean is 16.12 and standard deviation is 34.43. And the value of x is 77.5. The highest speed measure was 77.5. So when you take those numbers into this formula, that gives you the value of z. The first question is find the difference of these two, the difference of the mean and the new value. The second one, they want you to find the z value, which is this ratio. And the z-score is 1.78. And the last question was the career high static speed is not significant because it's getting very close to the 2. And then the next problem, number 5. Number 5, what they gave you is a test is used to access the readiness of a college. Mean is 22.1, standard deviation is 4.7. So mean and standard deviation both are given in these problems. And the value of z, they are saying the value of z is between 2 and -2. So we consider as a 2 and -2. We want to know what the x value is when the value of z is 2 and -2, because 2 and -2, you know, those are the border points. So when I substitute 2 here in this equation, when you cross multiply and solve it for x, x is 31.5, and when it's -2, it's 12.7. So what the intention is in this problem is, we know that if we go beyond 2, z equal 2 and z -2, then numbers are unusual, means these are the critical area. They want you to find these two value. They want you to find these two x value. For what x value? These two. So if you go beyond 31.5 height, then you go into the critical area, which is unusual. If you go below 12.7 height, then it's also very unusual. How to determine what is unusual and what is usual on number 5. Number 6, the percentile problems. Again, It's not the percentile, I'm sorry, it's just the z-value. Again, the mean, standard deviation, and x are given. We calculate z1. And we do it also for females. So in this problem, there are male and female, and for both of them, mean and standard deviations are given. And the x values are the same. So we calculate the z for female and z for male. And then we could do the comparison when you do this. So in that, anytime, see, that's one of the reasons we are using the z value. If you want to compare two value, they're from different group, like one x is from female, the other one is from male. If you want to compare the value of these two, you have to bring it to the same level, which is to the z, or same unit. Then you could compare. So in that case, you see that if this is the 0 on the number line, you understand that minus 84 is close to 0 than minus 2.687. So minus 2.687 is smaller than minus 1.84. Then the other one is on this one. It says use the following cell phone airport and find P of 80, the percent of the 80. Remember, the formula was you take 80% of 50. What is 50? How many numbers, the total number you have? How many numbers do we have? There are 50. So 80% of the 50 is 40. Remember, when you have a whole number, you should always take the average of 40 and 41. So percentile of 80 is 10.8. So percentile of 80 is between these two numbers. And the second one is, for the second problem, is find Q3, or percentile of 75. What is percentile of 75? Percentile of 75. So again, 75 divided by 75%, multiplied by 50, we have 50 numbers. If you come up with a decimal number, the rule is you round it up to 38. So you count 38 from here, you count 38, 1, 2, 3, 38 is this numbers, 8 point. So you start from the left, from the first row, you start counting numbers 1, 2, 3 till you reach 38, which is 8.9. I mean 9.8. Number 9, same thing. We want to find percentile of, we want to calculate percentile of 75. Again, 75 times, there are 50 numbers. There are all together 50 numbers. Time 50, 75% times 50 is 37.5, which you rounded up to 38. And that also is 9.8. You start counting for 9.8. Number 10. Now, number 10, they want you to find 5 numbers. Remember, when you want to graph a box plot, you need to have 5 numbers. You need the minimum, maximum, Q1, Q2, Q3. Q1 is 25%. Q50 is a percentile of 50, or the median. Q3 is percentile of 75%. So you need to find these numbers and then see which one of this box plot has those numbers. So that's how we did it. So we find 25% of the 20 is 5. If it's a whole number, you have to take average of 5 and 6. That gives you 3.5. 50% is 10. If it's a whole number, you take the average. These are your 5 numbers. Then you can see which one of those has those 5 numbers. So you look through this graph to see which one of these has these values. Now, these are more. Now, for problem number 11 and 12, I want to show you how to use the calculator to do this, to the box plot. Number 11, these numbers are given. So minimum and maximum are easy. The minimum number, if you write everything in order, then you could find your minimum number, which in this case is 0.69, and then find the maximum numbers. But you could use your calculator, and calculator would calculate Q1, Q2, Q3. So in that case, I want to show you how to use the calculator. You take all these numbers and input into L1. So here, you go to Stat. By default, you are on Edit. You input all those numbers, 1.25, 0.75, 0.69. You input all those numbers here. See, the last number is 1.34. So you keep inputting all the numbers till you reach to that one, 1.34, okay? So, and the calculator shows that it's waiting for number 12, but you have altogether 11 numbers. So you could check yourself to make sure you already have 11 numbers. All right. So now you go to Stat. You go to Calculations. And where Stat, the very first one by default, all your numbers on an L1. So all you need to do here is scroll down to Calculations. When you do that, you get all the numbers. Okay. What you have is this. Minimum is 0.54. You need that number. Q1 is 0.75. Median is Q2. Median is Q2. Q2 is 1.05. Q3 is 1.34. And maximum is 1.45. So calculator would give you all four numbers here. I'm sorry, five number. 1, 2, 3, 4. All numbers are in the calculator. Okay. And I did the same thing for the second one. For the second one, you also input all these numbers into the calculator. So here you go to Stat. All the numbers are already in L1. I put already all the numbers into L1. And then I go to Stat, go to Calculations. The very first one. Everything is in L1 already. Okay, so you see here. Now, if you scroll down here, Q1, Q2, Q3, and maximum numbers. That's how to use a calculator to answer. Now, if you want to construct your box plot, if you want to see the box plot, then, for instance, for this one, it said you go to the second start plot. This is the second, and the start plot is the blue one below. So you go second start plot. The first one, make sure is on. If it was already off, bring it to on. Then, which one do we pick? Which graph? The box plot looks like this, and all the information is already in L1. The calculator understands all the information is on L1. So everything is set here. So then, now you go to graph. So go to graph. And you see your box plot. If you don't see it, sometimes you may not see it correctly. Go to the zoom. This part is important. Go to zoom and Stat. So you go to zoom. This is zoom. You go to zoom and zoom stat, and that give you your box plot, okay? And the rest are multiple choice questions, and I have the answers for the rest of problems there.